he's all smiley, and you've got a face like. Can you describe what is going on in this picture?
I,
Hello and welcome back to Slow Pit Stop. This is your host Mohammed. Arfat is off dealing with his daughter. He has childcare duties. I am single and free. I don't have any children to take care of. And I'm joined today by Bianca Bustamante, a friend of the podcast and racing protege. She is a driver with the Academy team in the W Series. She's just coming off of a doubleheader, France and Hungary, back to back, which must have been very difficult. How are you doing, Bianca?
I'm doing amazing. I'm back home here in the Philippines. It's very nice to be back in the home soil. Uh, After, of course, a doubleheader that we just had a back-to-back race weekend. That was very interesting for me. It was my first ever experience, something like that. And yeah, here to just reset, refresh, and plan things ahead for Singapore.
When you go from one race weekend straight into another race weekend, you don't really have a lot of time to prepare for the next track. What did you do between France and Hungary?
Aside from flying and doing my laundry, that was pretty much it. Yeah. So basically, after the France, we flew Sunday night. We flew Sunday. Then we arrived Monday, and it was very hectic. Like I had to deal with lots of paperwork, a lot of other things, some personal stuff, and my laundry. And then Monday, sort of like a time off, where I just took it to myself and just sleep all day. I was like, I'm low battery right now. You can reach me Tuesdays. So Tuesdays when you start to go back to work, of course you can't let your fitness down as well when you're traveling, because like that's when you get the most vulnerable, like with your health and everything. So I just tried to keep myself fit and healthy. And Tuesday tried to go out around a bit. Like my first time in Europe, Hungary, an amazing country. I love it so much. I love the city, and and yeah, aside from that, Wednesday, Thursday, you start to feel the race weekend coming up. So there's a lot of preparations before it, like you do track notes, debrief, talk to your engineer, mechanic, plan ahead, and do some media. I happen to do a bunch of media for that 2 weeks. I was being followed around by lots of
Oh,
camera,
I
which
can
was
imagine.
extremely fun for me.
Yeah. So do you have a chance to practice racing the Hungary track, the Hungara ring, like beforehand? Like, have you tried it on the sim? Have you practiced it in the weeks before, or was it going into this weekend that was the first time that you had any experience driving that track?
Well, yeah, yes, I did drive it on the sim for a couple of hours. Didn't really have much time to prepare for it because I couldn't go back home and do some sim training because I did have a double header back to back race weekend. So I drove it on the same. When I got to the track, the best thing about the W Series is how well prepared they are. Like at the racetrack, they have the simulators there, they have the track guide and
Oh
everything, and
wow.
that makes it just so much easier to adapt. So the whole day Wednesday I was there. A Thursday I was there on the simulator doing laps and laps. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So what? How do you feel like the doubleheader went overall? Are you pretty proud of your results coming out of it, and the way you're able to prepare and the way you're able to perform?
definitely lots learned. Yeah, for sure. It was like a roller coaster ride for me. Like it was just so shocking how like racing drivers actually are so used to this, and I'm like just like barely hanging on, and I really was because like
Yeah.
I was like I didn't prepare enough clothes, I didn't prepare enough toiletries, and this and that. I
Oh
was
my
just like
God.
so unprepared, and it was just so funny for me, like experiencing something like that as a 17-year-old was a thrill. I enjoyed it so much, and then you head to the track, and then everything just comes at you so fast. You go from one session to another, and then you go from one session to another, and then suddenly you're racing, you're off the quali, and then you've got another track to focus on, and yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah, it was wet too in Hungary, and so that was your first time, I think, driving in the wet conditions, or maybe your second time. How was that? Is it something you're starting to get used to, or is it definitely a whole other ball game?
That's the thing. Like the Hungary was the trickiest conditions I've ever been on because it was raining. It was raining morning, raining afternoon, and right before we drove, the track dried, and it was half wet, half dry, and that was just like the condition that we had to drive in, which was so
Oh my god.
technical. Like especially for me, I have no experience in racing cars in a damp condition. Like
Yeah.
we I had to go talk to my engineer and we had a debrief and we, weighed out our options. It was either go on flakes and hope to not spin out or go on wet, but you're gonna be very slow. So
Yeah.
it was like, it was such a
Yeah.
gamble for us, and that's as well where experience kind of shines. Like experienced drivers like Damien Alice
Mhm.
Powell, they were like 10 steps ahead from
Mhm.
us. Like they were on wet setup and I was on rain setup still. So
Mhm.
when the track dried out, they had so much more advantage than the rest of the field. So that's why you can
Uh,
see the front five or three really gapping everyone else. That's just because of how they set up the car, and that's of course experience. Like they know that in 5 laps the track's gonna dry out, and for us and for me, that's never driven something like that before. I would have never thought
yeah.
about that. Like no.
You need to like peek over their shoulders and find out what they're doing and take notes and then like copy
I
their setup and put it in your car. So
I'll have to do that next race.
well, hopefully the next race isn't wet because that would be very difficult. But I know it's hard and you're basically going into this stuff and everything is brand new. But I think that it's so cool what you're doing. Like your starts are still the best starts that I get to see in any of the races. You like overtake 3-4 cars right at the beginning. It's so exciting. So how do you feel like you've been getting better at your starts? Is there anything that you feel like you've really improved on since Miami?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm just like, I guess I've always had really great reaction. Like I can easily avoid crashes or have a good start, and I don't know. I guess it's just, despite having terrible eyesight, my reaction is very spot on. I would say, but yeah,
Oh, that's
like
yeah. What do
friends,
you do? You can't wear your glasses in the car. So how do you deal with that?
I
Do you have
can.
contacts?
I wear glasses when I drive, so yeah, I wear
Oh,
glasses. It's just that's why I have to get ready 5 minutes before everyone else gets ready because it's such a struggle trying to fit in the glasses in like my helmet because my
yeah,
helmet is very molded to my face. So it's like such a
yeah.
struggle. I'm like, but
Well,
yeah,
okay. I
I
have
wear
to
glasses
ask,
all the time.
as someone who also wears glasses, like when COVID happened, it was so hard for me to wear a mask because my glasses fogged up
Oh,
all the time. So does that ever happen in the car? Like if your glasses fog up, you can't do it. You can't like take them out and what do you do in that case?
that was one of the struggles I had to face in Hungary. I was wearing my glasses and it was drizzling a little bit and the track had a lot of moisture in it, so then my glasses were fogging up a little, so I had to drive with my visor slightly open, and it was just a
Oh
lot
my
of
god.
struggle, to be honest. Like I would get like sprinkles on my face and stuff like that, but yeah, I definitely need to get my eyes like fixed or something because it is a bit of a struggle.
Or get contacts. I don't know. That's so wild. I can never imagine doing what you do even for a day. It would seem so difficult. But before we continue, I have to talk to you about something that is a dream of mine that you lived, which is getting a picture with Lewis Hamilton on his Instagram. I want to share it real quick. It should pop up in a second. But there you are standing next to him, and he's all smiley, and you've got a face like can you describe what is going on in this picture?
Okay. Hey, this was really funny because no one told us that he was gonna come. Like there wasn't like, oh, Willis is gonna be here. There wasn't like anything like that. He just waltzed into the pit and then like 5 minutes before he came in, they were like, oh, Lewis is gonna visit this very special moment for WPH, and I was like, bro, can't you like give us like, I don't know, like a warning? Because like my emotions were like so mixed up. Like I'm like, what am I gonna wear? What am I gonna do? My hair's a mess. and
Yeah.
but yeah, so Lewis came in and it was very humble. One of the nicest drivers I've ever met in my life. He came in. Angela was there. I got to meet Angela and
Oh.
and yeah, and he was walking around the pit. He was looking at the cars. He was asking us questions. Like he was really, really supportive and intrigued, and he gave lots of advice and tips. Like he obviously has been through where we are going through right now, and
Mm-hmm.
I've always looked up to Lewis simply because of, I guess I relate to him in the sense that I also came from absolutely nowhere. Like my family, it was a struggle for us to just even do karting. And Lewis was in the same spot a few years back, back when he was karting. So to meet him in person and to talk to him and be able to relate and confide in him was just an amazing moment for me. Like we talked so much. Like he was giving tips on how to drive the track and this and
Mm-hmm.
that. And yeah, it was just an amazing feeling. And then my face there is because we were talking and then they were like, okay, go for a group picture. And I was like, like group pictures is like tight, it's like compact. And I was just like slightly moving closer, and I was just like, but I'm shy, so that's my, what am I gonna do face? Like I didn't want to, I didn't want to invade his like personal bubble. But yeah,
Were
and I was
you
like,
surprised that that was the picture? Were you surprised that that was the picture that he put up? Like of all the pictures, that was the picture he put up.
I know. I mean, as much as I hate how I look like in that picture, how can I not love it? Come on, like he posted it around. How many people liked it? Like 500,000. It's insane, and it's an amazing experience. And like meeting someone that you watch on TV and standing right in front of you, it's just like I can't switch between reality and television. Like I couldn't.
Yeah. What was one piece of advice that he gave you? Do you remember? Is there anything that stood out that he said?
There's quite a few, like especially how to drive the cars and everything. But mostly, like he was very motivational. He told us that the junior years in this sport is gonna be the toughest years of our lives, and it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for me, this year has been the toughest year of my life, and it's tough but extremely rewarding. And I guess that what inspires me to keep on pushing forward, knowing that there's gonna be a rainbow on the other side of the mountain or something.
Definitely think all the hard work that you're putting in now is definitely going to pay off. And speaking of hard work, how you have these next few weeks off, you don't have to fly, you don't have to stay in a hotel, you don't have to cook your own food. How are you planning on spending this time at home?
It's amazing to be home, just having food ready in the table when you go down. It's one of the happiest moments of my life. Like I'm just laughing so bad right now because I actually can recreate or like reimagine the moment when the first day I spent at my house and I came down, just woke up and there's fresh food in the table and I'm just like
Yeah.
it feels so nice. It feels amazing and being home is just so much warmth for me.
Yeah, I gotta ask you something though. Okay, this is not racing related at all, but coming from an Asian family myself, anytime I leave the house for a few weeks, my mom always sends like recipes with me and like spices and everything. She's always worried about my cooking. Does your mom do anything similar when you're overseas and
Oh
you're
my gosh. She sent me a cookbook to buy, and I was like, "Mom, everything's on the internet now. You don't have to send me a cookbook. I can just search the recipe online. It's that easy." But yeah, my mom is very supportive. She was like, "Oh, call me so I can teach you how to do laundry. Call me so I can teach you
yeah.
how to operate this and that." And it's amazing. I love it so much.
Yeah, I have done so many FaceTimes with my mom as she teaches me how to cook, and she's like frustrated with me because I can't do it as easily as her. But yeah, coming home and having the cooked food on the table is absolutely the best thing ever. But how do you like balance the being at home with preparing for the future races and stuff like that, and keeping your fitness and working out? Do you have like a schedule while you're home, or how do you keep that balance?
Yeah, yeah, that's for sure stuff. Like home for me is rest, but actually it's work, work, work. It can't just be rest because then you don't stop. You stop growing, and so I always try to balance work life and personal life in between. Like when I got back home, my first week here, I did nothing, like no working out. I did a few interviews, but I was just at home. I was spending time with my dog, with my parents, a few friends, went to a few events and stuff like that. But yeah, now that it's my second week home, I have to get my grind back on. So I just finished working out, finished my gym. So now I'm back to doing interviews, training, simulator, and yeah, I always thought to myself that the minute that you stop working, someone else will outperform you, and that's really
Yeah.
the truth in any aspect of life. If you don't work hard,
Yeah.
someone else is working harder.
Yeah. Well, okay. When you got home after having been gone to Europe for like, weeks and weeks, were all your friends and your family, were they like, "Oh my God, she's so famous now"? Like, what was their reaction to seeing you come back?
I mean, there was a few reactions like that, but I always just tell them, guys, same dorky kid you've met like years back. I swear, nothing's different. And maybe a little bit bulkier, got thicker neck. That's pretty much it. I still watch anime, still love reading
Yeah.
books, so it's nothing. But
Do
yeah,
you
it's
watch
great.
anime? What is your favorite anime? I didn't know that you watch anime.
Oh no, that slipped. I wasn't supposed to say that. I think I
am
wasn't
I
supposed to
am I
say that.
exposing
I'm
you?
kidding.
All right, don't worry. You have a
A
fellow
bit.
fan here. What do you watch?
There's a lot like My Hero Academia. I love sports anime. I love Haikyuu. I love there's this one. It's Yuashima Pedal or something. I forgot what it was, but it's about this cyclist, nerdy, dorky looking cyclist, and he's really fast, really amazing. I have to search it up. I forgot the titles, but yeah. I also watched Jujutsu
Yeah, that.
Kaisen.
Oh wow.
Love that. Yeah, and I've watched a lot, to be honest. That's probably one of my guilty pleasures. And then I spend
No, you
too
don't have
much
to be. You
time
don't have to be
watching
guilty about
anime.
watching anime. You don't need to be. I should feel guilty because when I say I'm a fan of anime, all I do is rewatch Dragon Ball Z over and over again, and Dragon Ball Super and stuff. So, like, I can't really call
I
myself a
feel
real anime fan.
bad because I don't watch the OG anime like Naruto and stuff. So I feel bad. Yeah, but I do
That's
love.
okay.
I tried
It's
to
fun to
watch
be into anime.
Naruto, but it's just too long. Naruto is a bit too long for me. I might have to stop racing if I have to watch it.
All right, let's get back to the stuff that our fans. All right, they were not expecting an
Back to
anime
work.
episode. So let me ask you one thing. I know. Okay, so you just got a new sim set. I saw you setting it up on Instagram. What is the new? What is this compared to the old one? Is this like I saw it was the iRacing edition?
Yes, so I will be doing a Steam reveal very, very soon. But yeah, I've posted a few sneak peeks on my story. But yes, I'm a next level racing ambassador, and they sent me a really, really great gift. I believe that I guess it's the first one here in the Philippines. I'm not very sure, but it's just very few here in Asia. It's the next level racing elite iRacing edition. So it's an
Yeah,
amazing rig. I love it. I love it so much. And and and
yeah.
and aside from that, I've got really great equipment that will go along with it. One thing I did love about the next level racing rig is that the elite is that how much you can adjust the whole thing. You can modify it to your sitting position. You can go from GT to Formula cars.
Oh,
And right
nice.
now yes, and I would love to talk about this once we've revealed it. But yeah, the sitting position and everything. It's amazing. Like it's replicated to my position in the Formula car, and that is so rare to find in like a simulator. Having both GT and Formula style.
Are you also you're racing the USF Juniors as well, right? And back in America. So
I
do you
did,
have
yes,
a
I did. I did.
does it have the sim set up for that as well or no?
Yes, that's one thing I've noticed. Like comparing the F4 cars to Formula 3 cars, is how the tub is different and how reclined you can be. And
Yeah.
with the W series car, we're driving a Formula Regional. And the thing about the
Right,
regional is
right.
how close the steering wheel is to you. That's why there's a lot of drivers that
Yeah.
really struggle with driving this car because of how close it is. Like the closer the wheel is, the limited the limited muscles you can use to turn the wheel. Like you can't lock it because it's only up to here. So you really have to use different type of muscles in your upper body. And that is something that I really need to work on. And for the longest time I've been working out the wrong muscles and areas of my body that wasn't specified for
Hmm.
the WCH car. But now I've learned from my mistakes, and that's why we've assembled my rig very, very
Hmm.
closely to how I sit in the W Series car.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. So you're going to Singapore next, right? What are you trying to do to prepare for Singapore?
I just love the country. So I personally, if I wasn't a racing driver, I would live and study in Singapore. I just love the country so much. It's clean, it's safe, it's it's just everything is there. Like you can go from one end of the city to the another in a train ride, and that's how
Hmm.
perfect it is for me. And aside from that, my very first international race was in Singapore,
Hmm.
and and
Oh
it was
wow.
a very memorable one. Yeah, my very first international race back in 2012 or 2013. I've completely forgotten. It was still like years ago, but it's a very memorable one for me simply because we didn't have the budget to do it. We really didn't. But my parents, very, very supportive parents, they loaned everything they possibly could so they could buy the cheapest airfare and get me a rental car so that I could go race and experience the international scene. And we really like it was insane. The things that I would tell you guys probably would not believe it. The sacrifices we had to do, like we couldn't even afford getting a taxi because of how expensive it is in Singapore. We couldn't afford a taxi, so we had to take a train ride from the train station near our hotel to the kart track. And it was
Wow.
about a 30-minute train ride. We were carrying my tools, my racing bag, my everything. And the struggle that
Yeah.
we had to deal with. Like, I would have to wake up 4 a.m. just because we had such a long travel. And we'd arrive at the
Hmm.
track, and I would be super sleepy. And I was like, Dad, please, I need to go to sleep just before I drive because I'm about to pass out, really. And so I would sleep at the
Oh my
at the
god.
bleachers or at like the chairs alongside the track. And I still have a
Yeah.
picture of it. I will send it to you guys. I still
Wow.
have a picture of that of
How
me
old
sleeping
were
at the
you?
racetrack. I was 8, like 8 years old, 8 years old, and
Wow. You were 8 years old
yeah,
and doing that. Wow.
yeah, it was
So
insane. Like
now,
we
so now you're going to be returning as a VIP W Series driver. That's probably going to feel incredible to return, and everything will be taken care of, all the travel, all the food, and it's going to be the complete next level, right?
It is like thinking about it now, like WC has always given us the best of everything: best hotel, best food, best transportation. And thinking and looking back from my previous races where we always had to get the smallest seats, the budget airlines, the cheapest hotel. I had to share my hotel with my parents, my mechanic, my everything, and yeah, just looking back to it now, like that was the reason why I was so dedicated, was so hardworking, and just so grateful because
You
it
know what
really
you should
humbled
do?
me down.
Yeah, you know what you should do? Go back to that karting track that you were at when you were 8 years old and take
I
a
will.
picture there, but take it in the W Series like jumpsuit, so you
I
can be like,
will.
"This is where I was before. This is where I am now." So you could really like come for full circle. I think that'd be really
Actually,
cool.
just because I really want to show you guys that I'm not making these things up. I will. I feel like I have it on my. I have it on my Facebook because I think my parents posted it for me. Just me sleeping and here I found it. Here it is.
Oh my god! Stretched across like three chairs. Oh my god!
There's me. Yeah, I was exhausted. Like we couldn't afford a mechanic, so my dad was my mechanic that race. And yeah, it was just such a humbling experience. Like we had literally no idea how to do anything. Like our very first international race, we
Hmm.
got to see the competition abroad,
Yeah.
and that was such an eye opener for us. But regardless, I was still able to grab a podium. I was
Oh
able to get
wow,
a
that's
P3.
awesome.
Yeah, I was P3.
Look at that. That's so exciting. And oh my god, you look like such a baby in that picture. I can't believe it.
I really was. I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, it's a humble beginning for sure. It's great to be
Yeah.
back in Singapore.
All right. So we're coming to the end of the time that we have. So I'm really grateful that you're even able to sit down with us. I really appreciate, even though it's not. You have such a busy schedule, and it's just means a lot to us that you're able to spend this time. What do you have going on with your own promotions and with Dark Horse? How's all of that going?
No, Dark Horse has been amazing. It really has been this community that I'm so grateful to have. When I was spending time in UK, I had a bit of a free time, and I was glad that I had a simulator open to me, or that I had access to. So I was streaming a lot of my Discord channel, my voice channels, streaming, talking to the guys, interacting, staying up till 3 a.m. till I get scolded for staying up too late. And yeah, I guess I just had so much time, like so much fun times with everyone there, and I do hope that it continues to grow. Because as I
Mhm.
grow up, I have this chosen family of sorts that I have with me, and we're very excited. We've got so much things that we're working on for the Discord server, for the Dark Horse, and of course for our Singapore Grand Prix race. We've got lots of things in the making, lots of things in progress, and we cannot wait to share it with you guys. Like super excited. I have never been
So how
excited for a
can
race this much.
Wow, that's really cool to hear. How can people who are interested in joining your Dark Horse project, how can they get involved?
Yeah, so if you guys could hop on my Instagram, it's the link is there. So just go to Racer via on Instagram, and everything is there that you need to know. My links, my Discord invite, everything. And I'm really grateful actually to have my team, my management team, CBR Media, that takes care of like these amazing things, that gives me so much opportunities. And yeah, they're an amazing group of people, and they've been helping me out set this whole thing up. And yeah, I do hope that you guys join in on me.
So Bianca, you guys can follow her on Instagram at RacerBia or also at darkhorse_Bia. She's also on Twitter at RacerBia. And she is a joy to follow. It's really fun to watch her experience going through W Series and driving a Formula 3 car for the first time. I highly recommend everyone get involved with her Dark Horse project. You get behind the scenes access to her and to her journey, and it's something that's really incredible. Thank you so much for joining us today, Bianca. We'll try to meet up with you again after Singapore, and hopefully you'll have had an incredible race, and we can talk all about that then. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. Always enjoy talking and sharing stories with you guys.